Good evening, everyone. Happy Tuesday evening. Welcome to All Things Creepy with Ghostly Travels. I'm your host, Lee Allen. My co-host, my wife, Patty Allen, is running a little bit late. She's out of town for work, so she will be chiming in soon. I want to welcome you all to our show on Tuesday nights. Our special guest tonight is Satori and Cody. You guys know them from Ghost Hunters. Taps. We are part of the Taps family, and we look forward to chatting with them tonight. And so it's going to be fun. So sit back, grab your favorite let me get this over. Grab your favorite beverage, your favorite blanket, your favorite chair. Sit back and enjoy. Hello there, Alexa. It's going to be a fun night. I look forward to talking to them. Our show is an hour. Hello, Molly. Welcome. If you guys are on YouTube, please follow or like our YouTube channel. I'm trying to get it up and running. I'm starting to do streaming through there as well. So, yeah. Oh, look here. Let me add someone. Well, hello there.
Hi there. I am so sorry. I've been having internet problems, but here I am.
Well, I said that you're running a little behind. You're out of town for work, so.
Yes.
And all I said so far is we got some great guests. I've been excited to talk to these two for a very long time, and that is Satori and Cody with the Taps Ghost Hunters, which we are part of the Taps family. So this is going to be a fun hour speaking with them tonight. And, yeah, this is going to be fun. Let me make sure I got everything. Yep, so Cody's got the link, so he will be chiming in. I told him around 8:10. We got some stuff. We got some cool stuff. Oh, I got your text. You're trying to get on. So, yeah, we have it. 2025 is going to be a fantastic year, and I hope for everyone. So, Devin, I wanted to know if you could say to them to go check their messages. They forgot. I sure will, Devin. And they will be on. So you can ask them as well. Because tonight's going to be laid back. I did see something Satori posted. They have been under the weather, so they're not going to be live on their YouTubes. But we feel special because they're coming on our show. So join us. Hello, Tracy. Yes, I'll be on Tracy's show tomorrow night. I look forward to that. Welcome to All Things Creepy. If you're just now joining us, we look forward to having you. Wow. Look at the guests. Yeah.
We don't normally so many YouTube guests. I like it.
No, I like it. So if you guys are just joining us, can you please subscribe? We're trying to get the YouTube channel up and running. And again, we look forward to talking to Cody and Satori. So some things that we've got going on, as you know, we are part of the Taps family. I never shared with what we are. We are Paravisions Paranormal Society based out of Cincinnati, Ohio. What that means for the Taps family is I'm the Ohio team for the Taps for investigations to check things out. If somebody reaches out to the Taps team, Jason, Hawes, or Steve, or Tango, we are the ones actually, they'll get with us and we'll go check it out. And so right now, just because they're not on TV, that doesn't mean we don't get emails to go check things out. So I've been around paranormal since 1998 after losing my son. A month after I started seeing some things, and then I wanted to get involved. And then in 2000, my little girl was born, and she passed away May of 2005. In 2002, I started Paravisions Paranormal Society, and I love to help people. That is my number one goal, is to help people do residential cases, business cases. We're always there to help. So that's who we are in a nutshell. I met my wife, Patty. She was actually a residential client of one of my friend's teams, and he needed a second opinion. So what did we do? We went out and helped him. So that was fun. And that's when I met her, and it took off. It's been a great journey, learning. We learn from the new people that's getting involved to the paranormal, the old, new techniques, different ways of investigating, how to approach when talking in the dark. So it's fun. But a little bit about our show, All Things Creepy. We Have a great lineup like tonight. Cody and Satori, I'm looking forward to talking to them. Next week, we got Crystal and Jeffrey coming on. Joe Shortridge on March 18th. March 25th, Jenny Davis, good old friend Jenny Davis. April 1st, we got Carlo that owns the Haunted Bill Manor. We're going to be doing some things with Carlo this year. April 8th, we got Tori that owns the Sleeper Mortuary. April 15th, Brian Fuller. April 22nd, Robin Terry and Ashley from Ashmore Estates. April 29th, we got Paranormal Rockdown. That's a big event coming up this summer. And May the 20th, we got Michelle and Brittany. And so we're looking forward to the guests. We have some great things lined up. We do a lot of 101s. And, oh, that is so nice. Thank you so much, Crystal. And I'm trying to read these, and I'm trying to get things going. But we have a lot of things. We do 101s now with the stop properties. Randolph County Asylum, the Stone Mansion, Old Blackford County Jail. We will be there doing some 101s with our dear friends, the North Central Indiana Spirit Seekers. That's Bob and Denise. And our favorite little town, Waynesville, Ohio, the Friends Home Museum. We will be there doing our 101s. We do 3 a year. And that's where that's where I had Taps, Ghost Nation. That's when the show Ghost Nation was on. And I had them at one of our cool little places, the Buckeye Charm, to investigate. So if you've watched Ghost Nation, watch An Unholy Haunting. That is the episode at the Buckeye Charm in Waynesville, Ohio. They were also, at the beginning, they came into the Friends Home Museum, and we talked, and then we went down the hill to the Buckeye Charm. So, yeah, we do a lot of 101s just to give back to the community because all proceeds go to them. We don't charge for our services. And so let's have a great time tonight. I look forward to Cody and Satori coming on. Guys, this is an overwhelming night. All you YouTubers, I really appreciate it. If you are just joining us and you do not follow or subscribe to our YouTube channel, Paravisions Paranormal Society, please do, and I will go back after the show and follow you all as well. I look forward to going back and doing that. Our show, All Things Creepy, we go for an hour. We did podcasts for many, many years in the early 2010s, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, stopped a little while, and now we're back, Patty and I. And I wanted to do something different. So it's All Things Creepy with Ghostly Travels. Ghostly Travels is when Patty and I do things with other people away from the Paravisions team. Now, my team consists of 4 people. Patty, me, my buddy Jim, my buddy John. And so we're looking forward to 2025. And it's going to be a fun time. Let me check some messages here.
While Lee does that, so in the chat, where's everybody coming in from?
I need to send another link to Cody. Sorry. Take over, Patty.
Yeah, my link took me a while to get in, by the way. As I think Lee mentioned, we are just north of Cincinnati. We definitely like to travel for some investigations. And we have, Maryland, that's awesome. I know we'll be in Virginia next month for a family wedding. But investigation-wise, we've, gone out to New Jersey. So we've got York, PA, awesome. Some Dayton, New Brunswick, Canada. Awesome. Thank you, guys. I was just I'm on a work trip. Lee said that at the beginning. I'm at a work trip. I'm only in Cincinnati, but, sitting in a hotel room and was just at a business dinner. And one of my colleagues is from Toronto. I'm not really well-versed with where things in Canada are. Canada is huge, but...
I'm going to read.
Oh, okay. Lee ditched us, everyone. Sorry, now you're stuck with me. Wow, so we've got the UK, hour south of London, and New Zealand. That's awesome. I would really like to get back to England. I went to England a few years back and actually from there traveled to Wales. I love Wales. I don't know. I just like to travel. Lee and I are talking about potentially going back to Austria sometime this year. Our son lives there. Lots of snow. Oh, man. So Lee must be rebooting. He has abandoned us. But, when we travel to Austria, we haven't done any investigating over there. Our son is not into that. So when we go, we're just doing the historical walking and he's a history buff. So he's giving us a rundown of where the Romans came in to Vienna and such. But yeah, every time I've been to England, I've always had to go to another castle. And well, I guess actually it was Wales. So would love to investigate some castles.
Okay, there, guys. I stepped away because Cody and Satori, they're having a little IT problems, and we're trying to get it solved. They're going to try another computer because I sent the link to invite because we use StreamYard, and I sent him another link to try, and he said give us 2 minutes, and I said no problem. So yes, they'll be coming in. But some of the topics that I would like to talk to them about, Patty, is me and you discussed. They got something that just released March 1st, right? A new book. Archives of the Paranormal. Case files from the Paranormal Couples Haunted Museum. Look forward to talking about that. So let's talk about the Haunted Museum, right? Let's talk about their communication method that they use. I look forward to learning more about their techniques. Satori's jewelry with her mother. Satori's artwork. Got something cool here that we got that I will share tonight. Just whatever they want to discuss. I look forward to having them on, guys, and we do apologize. And they're trying to get on here.
Yeah, like I said,
so
when I was trying
just
to
keeping an eye on my phone.
It took my computer quite a while to get on. I didn't know if it was this hotel internet or what, but I wondered if it was a StreamYard thing.
It could be either or. I don't know, to be honest, right? So we're going to find out.
Well, that's okay. When you abandoned us, I was trying to get a feel for where some of our viewers were from. So
yeah, where are you all from? I heard you say a few things because I just took myself off the screen is what I did.
Yeah, well, we've got some Canada, some UK, New Zealand, Dayton.
Oh wow, local to us.
All over the place. Yep.
Yeah, that is awesome. That's what I like. I like to see people connect in different ways. Social media is huge, right?
No,
I mean, you've got TikTok, you've got YouTube, you've got X, you've got Instagram, Facebook. Am I missing something? Hi, Jackie. Hey, Bob. Yes, Devin, when they join, they will see the comments because I will put them up on the screen. Okay. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. Oh, wait. I think I see them. Guys, let's stop for a second.
Were you this excited when you saw me?
Yes, but I'm really excited to see these two. Okay, guys, we've been waiting for a few minutes. I think they're here, but let's just go right into it real quick.
I was lightning before the thunder.
That was pretty cool. Actually, do you want to do that for like every time we go live?
Oh, hold on. Yes, hold on. You just call me and I'll do this.
Before the thunder.
I like it.
It's too good.
Always.
It's too good.
Lee has skills.
Oh, I got skills. For this podcast tonight, guys, I worked. I've got stuff to talk to you guys about. I'm just so excited. I am. I'm like a huge fan of your guys. And I was telling them, you guys are at our capital for the Taps, and we're just this Taps family here in Ohio. So I cover Ohio. So I'm like so excited to have. No, that's true. I love what you guys do. I back you guys 100%. Me being in the paranormal since the 90s, love you guys to death.
Oh,
And,
thank you.
We appreciate it.
I'm nervous to do research.
I know there's a lot of stuff.
I feel like, what rabbit hole are we falling down this evening? I'm excited.
No, we're gonna have a fun time. Nothing crazy. I like to tell everybody before our podcast, grab your favorite beverage, your blanket, your favorite chair, sit back and enjoy the time we have with our guests. And that's what we just like to just chit chat. Everybody does podcasts and everybody gets interviewed, and they're always just like paranormal. We go in and we ask the same questions.
Mm-hmm.
And the spirits are like, here we go again, night 7.
Yeah.
Right? So it's the same thing. So welcome to All Things Creepy, guys. Appreciate you guys coming, taking some time. I did see Satori's thing. They're under the weather this week. And I was like, they're not doing theirs tonight, but they're doing ours. And I'm like, yes.
I'm happy we were well enough to do this, because as of yesterday, we were kind of scared. We didn't know if we were going to feel good enough, but we both this morning woke up. We're like, we're definitely going to do this. We're not going to be those people last second that say we can't do something. Like, I don't care if I have a cough. We're going to get on and do it.
Yeah.
So,
I got a cough too. It's going around, that bug or whatever.
It is. There's some nasty stuff going around, and just over the weekend, we were having dinner with some family members at one of the birthdays, and we're sitting in a restaurant. We were at Crackle Barrel, and we're sitting in the far back. And me, I'm sitting there thinking, I told Patty when we got in the car, I was like, what I was thinking? All these people around us, and one person's sick. We're all screwed.
Mm-hmm.
So I was knocking on wood, and I'm like hand sanitizing.
Yep, we did the same thing. We were I'm a huge
a lot of your fans are coming in here.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Hi.
Hopefully we're not too behind, because
Me too.
Do we have a delay?
No, I don't think there's a delay. I think we were just late, because we're always late for some
I
reason.
feel like there's a delay. Okay.
Cody, was it a computer issue or?
It was a computer issue.
Was it a computer issue?
The big computer here still has that error message, so I don't know what's going on with that. But I was able to pull it up on my laptop. So we're all good to go.
Well, I will tell you this. My neighbor sent me a picture through Messenger this morning, because I work from home. My full-time job is I do fire stuff. So I'm working from home, and my phone goes off, and I look, and it's my neighbor, and he sends a picture. And we have a 2-story house, and he goes, "Are you alive?" And he goes, "Here's reason why." He sent a picture of 6 turkey buzzards hanging out on the roof of the house. And I'm like, doesn't that mean good luck?
Wow.
I would be questioning it too.
Yeah. That's creepy.
We've got someone, Cody, you forgot to check your messages. This Devin was asking about you.
We'll check, Devin.
We'll check.
I'll make sure. I'll be there when he checks. I'll make sure.
See, I told you I will put your message up there. So, okay, guys, we have a lot to talk about. And, the first thing is some of the top new news is, which Patty's going to get, is your new book that just came out, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we got it right here.
We do. Actually, we just got our first copy in, our personal copy of the finished book too.
Yeah, it's weird holding it.
It is weird.
So that's the book.
Isn't it weird after you put all what you want to say and it's right there? Guys, it's Archives of the Paranormal.
That's right. That's right.
So exciting.
It's a different kind of book, so we wanted to do something a little different. So Satori and I, for those that don't know, we have a museum full of hundreds of haunted things from around the world that have been donated, and it's a whole story on how that kind of gets started too. But this book features 21 different case files from the museum that we kind of picked out that we thought were interesting, and we didn't want to just write the stories and have it in a black and white just word salad book. So we made it a little different. So I'll open one of the pages here. So this is one of the case files. So it gives a little short story about the case files, a couple pages. Then you get to the case file itself. And then once you open the case file, it's like you're actually opening the case file, and
Cool.
shows you the case file, which is really neat. So, and this is basically what our real case files look like.
Just some of the information, like the names and where it comes from, changed because we don't want to put everybody's personal information that is donated to us out for everybody to read. But it's everything else is to a T how it happened.
That is so cool. Yeah, we're going to get the book. That's for sure.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Absolutely. Here to support you guys. And you guys have the Haunted Museum.
We do.
And here, I want to ask, what got you into wanting to collect that stuff? Was it something like, were you intrigued, or was it something like, there's so many things out there in this world that can harm people, and you felt like it would be safe to take those to make sure that people are safe? Or what was behind that when you guys decided to do that as a couple?
So it's basically two accidents that happened. And so the first one was, I have a family heirloom that has been passed down in my family I'm the fourth generation now. And, it's nothing scary. My grandparents on my mom's side, strict Roman Catholics. And my grandfather had this painting of Christ hanging in his bedroom. Basically, the short story is this painting was passed down from his grandfather to his father and then to him. And they lived with me on the first floor in the house I grew up in, which also was active. And every night I would go downstairs to say goodnight to my grandfather and my grandmother. And sometimes I'd go down just a little bit too late, and he'd be praying. He would pray to the painting every single night. And so I'd wait until he was done, and then I'd walk in and say goodnight. And pretty much every time, if I walked in on him doing that, he would tell me the story on how when his grandfather was on his deathbed, his father, was on his deathbed, he claimed that the painting started talking to him and telling him that everything was going to be okay, and he had nothing to worry about. And then he ended up having a peaceful transition after that. So then the painting ended up being passed down to him. And ironically, my grandfather had a very similar situation happen when he was on his deathbed. The painting supposedly told him that his mother was going to come and greet him and everything would be okay. And he passed away peacefully after that. So that painting was given to me. Thankfully, it hasn't talked to me yet, so I'm not going anywhere yet. But that's kind of how my my whole interest in haunted objects kind of started from that. And then joining TAP's team, and then eventually meeting Satori, we would go on a couple cases here and there where it seemed like an object was the catalyst of whatever was going on there, whether it truly was something paranormal or the family was just blaming everything that was going on an object. Removing that object seemed to help the situation by leaps and bounds. So no one else really wanted to take it, to be honest, and so we were like, oh, all right, we'll take it. So that's how that kind of started. And then COVID hit, and then COVID was a big push for the museum. And that's the second accident that happened. We were bored, so we just started making videos on some of the stuff that we did have. And once we did that, people started sending stuff in from around the world, which was amazing. TikTok blew up and all of that stuff. So so that's kind of how the basis of the museum started. Yeah.
And now it's just grown. It's gotten worse to the point where we're picking up coffins that people have found in their homes. And, it's just grown, all sorts of things from different countries all around the world. We have such a vast collection now, hundreds of items. So we're looking for a place to put them right now that's not just our home location where people can actually come in and spend time with them. But we're still working on that right now.
That is so cool, guys. Because that was my next thing is like, okay, you started out in this like box van, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
then now you can't carry all those coffins in there with all these other little things.
Yeah. We thought we were going to keep it pretty small, like, just go travel at events, have some people come in and see them. And like we had like a tent set up. It was only a couple feet wide and we'd fill in with some objects and let people at conventions come and see some of the items. But then like the lines to see the items started getting too big that we couldn't shove everybody in one tiny little tent. And now we're like, no, what are we going to do? So we had to reimagine what we were going to do. Now there's just too many. Like we bring maybe like 20 items sometimes if we do bring items to conventions, but that's all we can really fit to bring right now.
Yeah, and this year we're doing something a little different as far as the conventions go. So we've teamed up with our good friend John Zaffis, who is one of the writers for the forward on the book there, blood nephew to Ed and Lorraine Warren, and of course he has a museum. He's always been a mentor to us, when it comes to the haunted stuff, and we have at least 3 events this year where we're teamed up with him, and he's bringing about 20 things from his museum. We're bringing 20 things from ours, and then setting them up at the conventions that we're going to. So something a little different that really hasn't been done in the past.
Yeah, that is so cool because I know like I see John post like a picture of this cardboard box in front of his door. Well, something got dropped off today.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
That's how it happens.
Yeah, and I've messaged him and I'm like so intrigued, and he's just open to share the stories, and it's just, I'm intrigued to get involved into doing that. But I'm going to need another building.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm going to just want. Just yeah, I'll take that. Because typically on a paranormal investigation, right, we say we never take something from the haunted location because we don't know what it could do.
Mm-hmm.
But if you know how to ground yourself and things like that, and to take that out of your head, like, they want it away from their house or their business, so someone's got to take this.
Absolutely. That's what our process kind of is. We don't believe everything we have is haunted. We do believe it kind of helps people psychologically too. If they really want to get rid of an item, we're here, and you're always allowed to have your item back if you ever want that back later in the future. But we've never really had anybody ask for their items back. So that's kind of saying something. But we do keep the items away from our direct living space. We don't spend all of our time with these items because it can take a toll on people, even just mentally. It can take a huge toll on you. But we've never had anything happen outside of our museum. We've been very grounded about things. We kind of have to turn off what we feel. Just like if we're trying to pick up on anything, you have to turn that off when you're in the museum if you don't want to experience something, because things are always constantly happening. Imagine like you're in a tiny apartment, at least right now, full of hundreds of different people and energies, just all at the same time. So you kind of have to like ground yourself when going into our collection. For sure.
Now we have a question for you. Bob asked, do haunted items from different collections interact with each other?
Yes. So in the beginning, we just had different sections. So it's kind of like an off-building space and like an office space that's kind of attached to our living space. So at first we had only a few items, so we could like put them in different areas of the space. And we noticed some interaction. Like if we'd bring in a new item, like we'll notice that some of the other items will move or interact, or you'll get more activity all of a sudden. One time we brought home a doll and we put her in the doll section. It's just hundreds of dolls. And we put her in this section, and all of a sudden the other dolls started like having their heads spin around, or their bodies turn, except for her. So we had to remove her from that space, put her in her own space. So that's kind of how we learn what interacts with what well. And we had to kind of create designated rooms for different categories to put things in.
And now there's just so much stuff that it's hard to figure out what is interacting with what. I mean, every new object we get into the museum, we put through what we call a quarantine period, where we basically just put it in a small room by itself for like 2 weeks and monitor it to see if anything happens. And 9 times out of 10, to be honest, nothing happens during that period, which is normal. It's not until the thing is moved out of that room and into the other energies, that I think it starts acting up again. We also find that there's this acclimation period that happens when you remove a problematic item from a location. Sometimes once it arrives to the new location, it can take a couple of days, a couple of weeks, a couple of months, and we've had a couple objects that have taken a year or two to actually do one of the claims that was prescribed to it. So and then there's other stuff that nothing happens. So I think it all depends on the living energy that is around the object as well. And then when you put these items in the museum environment, of course, you have a lot of not living energies that have a huge role in the activity as well. So it all depends on the situation.
But when we open the museum, we're excited because what we plan to do is ultimately make everybody that visits into a guinea pig. So it's kind of like a big data collection for us. I'm totally honest about that.
I'll do it.
Yeah. So we're going to pretty much allow you guys to go into these rooms, get up close to these items, kind of see what you feel out of it. And that's how we collect our data. How do you interact in the space? How do the items interact with you in the space? So that's how we're going to kind of approach it. We can't guarantee anything's going to happen, but it's cool if it does.
Here's what I'm sensing. I'm sensing like Cody and Satori's like these caretakers for the Rugrats, the cartoon. You put them all in a confined space.
Yeah.
And then you're like, you're a bad one. I'm going to have to put you over here in your own little fencing area.
Exactly.
Exactly. We do have footage after we moved that doll, for example, out of the doll section that I mentioned previously. We sat her on a shelf and we got camera footage of her at like 2:30 in the morning, picking herself up and adjusting her position. And we share that with people. Like sometimes if people come to conventions and they're not really like full on believing in this stuff, we like to kind of throw those videos at them to just be like, hey, just to get you to think about it, just to get you to question what's going on. And sometimes they get really freaked out by these videos. But that's the cool part about having this collection, and we can surveillance them like that.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole part of it too, because we're investigators at the same time too. So, of course, we love helping the families that these items came from and making them feel at peace. And the goal isn't to build the biggest collection, but at the same time, you want to learn about the stuff that you have as well to see if there's actually something going on, and if there is, what is it? Is there really spirits trapped in these things? 90% of them, we don't believe so. We believe it's just things that people loved a lot in life, and once they've passed on, they're checking in on it once in a while. You know what I mean? A lot of times,
I totally agree with you.
Yeah, when individuals pass away, sometimes their stuff ends up in secondhand stores and yard sales, and they loved that a lot when they were alive. And maybe they're not really fond of the new family that purchased it, and they start acting up a little bit. They move it around a little bit, and to try freaking them out. So it's nothing, malicious. It's just, them loving their item and wanting to make sure that it's really cared for. Yeah, I think every situation is different. Of course, we definitely have a dark room full of items that are not so friendly. We'll put it that way. But those are much more rare than I think a lot of people, or I should say, Hollywood would like you to believe. As you know, as you go. Yeah.
And and you answered the question, Mike Rivers, and I do apologize, Mike. You're watching. What is the leading cause of items becoming haunted? And I think you nailed it, Cody, when you said loved ones come back to something that they love.
Yeah. That's mostly the case. Yeah, it's mostly just things that people loved in life. And then we have some items that we believe are haunted due to intention. What you put your intention into can have a lot of power and a lot of energy. And I think that can residually stay around items for a while. Or maybe they were involved in certain situations where there was mass death or mass trauma. And we believe that those items can sometimes hold energy from those situations and residually play out. So we have quite the variety. There's so many different reasons why an object may become haunted.
Yeah, and I think we cover all the bases, I think, in some form or another.
Yeah, true. And it's just like, the homes, wood, if it's furniture, a lot of the stuff was made wood back then too. So holds a lot of energy, right? So yes. we get a lot of cases. Your dad sends cases, and I'm like, he sent me one, and I'll share that story in a little bit. But one was, this woman smells cigar smell.
Mm-hmm.
and found out that the pocket doors, when they would open the pocket doors in this Victorian home, it was trapped inside the wood. So, you know, there was always thinking that somebody's coming into the room and they could feel their presence. And then of course, the thing that they do for the first thing is they smell the cigar. And so, you know, it's just so much as a paranormal investigator that we, you know, if I don't know the answer, I know that I can reach out to you guys. I know anybody to get me some answers. Like, hey guys, they have this doll. You guys would be like, yes, go ahead.
Exactly. Yeah. And I love that you brought up the cigar smoke in the wood, because we do have items that some people have claimed to have, you know, smells that they can't explain and things like that. And there have been occasions where we have found that if you raise the humidity in the room or something like that, that it can give off just the smell, because that's what it was involved in or came into contact with. And then there are some times where the smells just happen and you don't get that seeping out of the materials, which is quite interesting. But you have to research these type of things. You have to experiment with these type of things. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Sure, no problem. And now I want to switch. Go ahead, Patty.
Going back a minute to what Cody said about, you know, people's belongings ending up in secondhand stores or antique shops. You know, I'd love to walk through antique shops or, you know, even thrift stores, but it makes me so sad when you think about, you know, like, because I see a lot of handmade items. I hand make some stuff and I would hate for it to end up at the Goodwill store. But what really kills me are like photographs and old photos. I think they're haunting in themselves, but I'm like, man, why didn't their family want these? Like, it breaks my heart.
And then you think they may not have no family members alive.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And there's a new trend that has been happening, you know, more recently, I would say within the past few years, where a lot of remains are popping up, like urns and stuff are popping up at antique stores and stuff, which is even sadder on a different level. So it is sad. I mean, of course, you know, we enjoy going to antique stores and stuff like that as well, and we like old furniture and things like that. Satori loves old glass, so we like.
I am a glass collector. That's what I go to the antique stores for, because you know we don't go to like stores looking for haunted objects or anything. They come to us, you know, like people that go to these places sometimes buy things and then they end up in our collection. So we don't go doing that because we know what happens to other people. But when I go, I'm a big collector of like clothes and glass and things like that.
But we know at some point that someone else owned this stuff at one time. So we're always like, oh, well, we're going to buy you, but we're going to take care of you, so don't get upset. You know, so.
if there's anything, because I'm so used to that by now.
Yes.
But it is sad. And what on what Patty said, photographs, that we have photographs that have come into the museum collection from people that have found them either on their properties or they came into contact with them and they feel like they are haunted or hold some sort of energy. One that actually really breaks my heart is there was this old doctor's bag that somebody had found when renovating. And it was a full doctor's bag from like the early 1900s, turn of the century, maybe. And there was a photograph inside of an old tintype of this doctor with his stuff. And it's one thing to get the item and to know that this had some attached claims to it and to go through these things and be like, wow, that's so cool. I can imagine the life of this doctor back then with these old medicines. But then you see the photo and you're like, this is a person. This was their entire livelihood is in this bag right now. Yeah. So I think photos like that just hold a lot of energy and a lot of power themselves.
But Satori, speaking of photos, real fast, you did something for me that touched my heart, and I'm going to share this with everyone. Okay. I did not know Patty got with you to have a portrait of your art. You did.
Yeah.
And this is my dog that, I don't know if you, there it is. Satori made this.
I did.
And he passed away several years ago. And his name is Colton, our little Chihuahua dressed in his Superman outfit for Halloween. And
I had that done
when I
around
got
Valentine's
this,
Day.
I was just like, can you guys hear me? There we go.
Yes.
When I got this, yeah. And so I was like, we're going to share that and it sits on one of our end tables. I was like, because he's always right there. He's got the side eye, the Chihuahua side eye. Like, hey.
Yes. Yes, it was such an honor to do artwork like that. I definitely enjoy recreating images as much as I can. I'll never get it 100%, but I feel like it's a really important thing to have things like that, memories like that. So.
And that you nailed him. I mean, that is 100% him.
Thank you. It took a while, but I like finger paint on digital. Like that's literally how I do it. It's like I go on a tablet for those and I literally like finger paint with the image as reference. So it's kind of, hopefully it looks accurate.
It does. It's him. And you saw the picture, the real image. So
yes.
Yeah. And he was at the college. Our daughter, Patty took him to go see our daughter at Ohio University, and he just thought he was so cool with the girls,
Oh,
so.
They loved him.
They did.
Aww.
They did. And then you're doing something else with your mom.
I am. I'm actually wearing a piece right now. I started a jewelry business with my mom, so. It's called Handmade by Hawes. We started off on Etsy, but now we have a website called handmadebyhawes.com. And what we do is I'm obsessed with crystals. I believe there's so much power behind crystals. If that makes me wacky, then so be it. But I like to collect stones and crystals, and I hand stones to my mom, and she's so talented that she just gets something in her head when I hand her a stone. And she's like, I'm going to create a unique necklace with this. And it's all done by hand with just minimal tools like pliers and things like that. And each piece is pretty unique. And so far it's been pretty successful, which I'm thankful for.
That is so cool. Yeah. And Patty goes, yeah, she does the jewelry. And I was like, yeah, I've been seeing it. That is so cool.
That makes me feel cool. Thank you for bringing
that
up.
It's out there. People are, and then people need to get in touch with you. And there you go.
Thank you.
Sure.
Oh my gosh, they know their stuff.
Good research.
I know.
That's what it's about. Research, right? Not stalking your page or anything.
No, I wouldn't care if you did.
That's right.
We're all Taps family here. I know.
That's right. Now, here's something else. This is what I love. Okay. I've been watching you guys investigate on TV and, multiple times. And I'm like, you know what? Their technique, their method, me and Patty used your method one time, and we were at a location here in Ohio, the Haunted Bill Manor, and the reaction, we were at the top of the steps was we at the top of the steps or the hallway behind the steps?
It was
when we did their method.
I think it was the hallway behind the steps.
Yes, because you could hear all of these people, like footsteps, you could hear them coming up the steps. And I'm like, okay, and we're doing your method. And I'm like giving her the look like, oh, and I'm not letting go, right? And I'm like, because I'm so in tune with her and that energy around me. And I'm like, oh my God. And, because there's a wall right here. And that is on the other side of that wall is the steps. And I'm like, oh my God, they're coming. And that's what we want. And the camera behind is like, it's got to catch it. But that method you guys do is phenomenal.
Thank you.
Because we experienced with it and it works.
It does. Really and I'm so glad that people are trying it, because it's one thing to not be in the room and to just say that this is what's happening. This is what you think it's happening and kind of brush it off. But then there are people that have started to try it and get experiences like you guys are talking about. And it started off the same for us. When it first started and we first started putting 2 and 2 together, it wasn't as consistent as people are seeing on television and on YouTube videos. You also have to take into mind that these sessions we're doing can last over an hour or more, maybe even a couple hours, and they're chopped down because sometimes
you're only seeing like a few seconds, right? but it's
Exactly.
ours.
Sometimes it's hard to keep their attention. Sometimes it's hard to get straightforward answers. It's not a perfect method, but we think that we're doing something, some sort of procedure that's making something happen. And the more people are trying it, you guys aren't the only ones to say that. We've gotten a couple emails from people saying, hey, I thought this was a joke, and then I tried it and I actually heard noises when I asked for it. So I'm glad to see other people doing it. It makes us seem less crazy. That's for sure.
Yeah.
No, because when all of that was going on about idiots talking like, oh, they're popping their toes, and I'm like, really? You can pop your toes that strong on the ground? I mean, that's a lot of force. Like, boom, boom, without moving your feet.
Yeah, I respect everybody's opinion. I definitely do.
Exactly.
You just have to be there. And that's what we said in the beginning. We said that not everybody's going to believe us. You just have to be there, because trust me, we know how crazy it sounds. Two people holding each other's hands and getting spiritual knocking noises. We know it sounds like a really bad movie plot, but trust me, you have to be there. So,
and we're not the first ones to do this. I mean, the paranormal field, the whole spiritualist movement was built on seances and holding each other's hands
True.
to combine energy and building that foundation to open up the spirit world. So I know that everyone has teams, right? Most people have teams, and most people, you find this person or group of people that you investigate really well together, and you find that you get better results with them when you're around them, and when you're around other people, it's not so good. So I think it works that way, in a sense that you find somebody or a group of people that you work really well together, and you get better results. And I think when you combine energy with each other, I think that that kind of boosts it up even more, and you get better results that way. And we found it works for us 100%. So yeah, I see no reason why people shouldn't want to try this. If you're investigating the paranormal and looking for answers, why not give it a shot and see what you get?
Yeah, because nothing is solid, right? We're still learning. We're still trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
Whatever's the best method to communicate with the other side.
Sure, someone's doing something crazier. So
I'm sure. I am absolutely sure of it. I mean, think of it like this. Yeah, you can think we're crazy, but at one point, people thought it was absolutely crazy to sit in a dark room and talk to something you can't see. So you had to be the first to do that. And the people that were the first to do that got attacked, crazy attacked. Are you kidding me? The first people to become paranormal investigators, they're frauds, they're getting attacked all over the place. They're crazy for even thinking this is possible. And now look where the paranormal field is today. So you have to think of it's like everything seemed crazy at one point until you tried it. So
and our good friend Leah says we have it in our toolbox, and they enjoy it. So there you go.
Awesome. Thank you.
It's even better. So yeah, so people are using it, and just like what Cody was saying, seances. You don't have to do it with just 2 people. You can do it with 4.
Yeah,
whatever. If you're a team and you want to do that, try that out. Put some, here. I'm just throwing ideas. Put some trigger objects around you guys. Put a camera going. Run a tripwire, whatever, just to see what kind of reaction you're going to get. Instead of sitting at a table doing a seance or using a Ouija board, stand.
Yeah, I think if we're also focused on one part of it, like I know everybody's focused on the validity of it, and that's okay. You can be focused on if this is real or not, in your opinion, that's okay. But if we start focusing more on the perspective of, okay, let's say it is, what else can we figure out? What else can we get to go off or make happen? How can we advance this in the possibility that this is a legit process and we're getting legit activity? What else can we incorporate into this to make it more like visible that this is actually a paranormal occurrence? And we've been working with some paranormal teams and people, whether it's online or not, that have been providing equipment and different techniques and experiments. And we're finding out some weird stuff as we go along. Definitely.
Oh, you do.
Yeah, we are.
And and I can't remember the case where you guys were, but when your dad found the pin that you said there's a pin in the wall.
Yes.
That was in California. That was we were investigating with somebody from The Walking Dead. Chandler Riggs. And
Yes.
we were at it was actually Steve Perry from the band's Journey's hometown, Hanford, California.
That's how Cody remembers it.
And
Heck yeah.
it was a jail, and we were talking to the warden or whoever it was.
We
at
were
the time.
talking to some spirit, and they just kept saying, and not all of it made it on TV, but they were saying like my pen, and we're thinking that they're just talking about a memory, and then they're like, no, I need to find my pen. So can you imagine my father, who is like an OG debunker, my dad being a very skeptical individual? I have to walkie to him next to a celebrity from The Walking Dead saying, Dad, there's a spirit, just hear me out, saying that there is a pen in the floor. And at first, like, my dad kind of seemed like, okay. And then he actually kind of ripped open this part of the wall and found buried under was a pen. So
wasn't it like the old style pen too, right?
It was like a fountain pen.
Yeah,
like
fountain pen. There we go.
Pens. And as soon as like the spirit knocked out, we had Chandler walk around the room and we're like, okay, knock when he gets to where it is or where it's near. And then, he walks near the wall and knock. And I was like, Tor, I was like, as much as I want to rip open that wall, I says, we can't. I said, you need to call somebody because they're going to think we planted it there or something. So that's when she called Jay and he literally had to rip him and Tango, rip the whole, the baseboard off the wall. And it was sitting
there. It was. And I remember seeing Jay's face like, there's a pin.
Yeah.
my dad was just kind of like, okay, there's something going on. Obviously, we only arrived at that location maybe a couple hours before we were investigating, right before the sun went down.
So you didn't know anything about that, right?
No, we
Satori
didn't.
was still in college, so we left right as soon as she got out of college, hopped on a plane, and then as soon as we landed, they drove us in, and we started investigating right away. And so there was no time for anything, even just to get a brief history, and then boom.
But finding things like that has been so interesting, and it doesn't happen all the time. But sometimes we find spirits that are willing to do that. One time we were at the Conjuring House when we worked there, and there was information about something that was buried out in the backwoods. And we were let out there, and at the time, we dug up the ground with the owner that was there, and it was an old piece of metal, like a horse comb. So it's they described what it was before, and we were able to have people come out and see, like, environmental people to be like, okay, the roots were growing here. It's not like you guys could have buried this old rusty horse comb and put it over. And so it's cool like that we're able to actually find things now that's just confirming for us what's going on.
Yeah. And we had a case just like that here at an old farmhouse where this lady called us in and she goes, I want you to investigate this farm. We just bought it. My husband is totally remodeling this house. I can't stay until we figure out what is here. So when we arrive, I've talked to this lady a couple times through the week, and when we arrive, she showed us around, and her husband, she says, we're leaving. We're going back home. You guys have the whole house. Just let us know how things go. Here's the code to lock the back door. And we're upstairs, and we're communicated in this front bedroom, and this spirit was telling us to look under the wood, the floor. Mm-hmm. And so I set things up on the mantle and looked down, and I saw a little hole in the floor, and I just popped it open. Looked back in there. There was a baby doll and a letter. Mm-hmm. And the letter says, for the next person that moved in. Now, this was dated, I think, what was the 1970s or something like that?
Wow.
It was the late 70s, and it was just, like, this doll brought me comfort. I hope it can do the same for you type of deal.
Yeah. So this person, I don't know if this person, passed away, and they were there at that night, and, and they said, hey, open that piece up there, So I text her before I did. I said, I'm going to open up your floor. Do it. I want you to totally check this whole place out before I get there. I was like, okay. And I just popped that piece of wood up and then looked back in there with a flashlight. I was like, oh my God. They're like, what? I was like, hold on. Yeah, that is so cool. That's the best thing. Someone on the other side helped me get this.
Exactly. And there are people that it doesn't just have to be through our method or how you got it. People are getting spirit box responses, supposedly telling them to find things, EVPs, all sorts of things like that, where they're finding physical things, which is just confirming the activity, if you ask me.
I love it.
I do too. I and it's like, you know, you learn something new. It's like going on a Easter egg hunt each day. It's different. It's, oh, this is cool, you know?
Yeah.
So, and it's, you don't know what to expect, you know, and sometimes too, it's like, okay, you go with a group of people and you've never investigated with them before, but wow. And they've never investigated, but they've brought energy. And I'm like, wow, you need to start tagging along with me. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah, because your energy is on fire here at this location.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, and guys, I know we're coming to an end, and I really appreciate you guys coming on. I know you guys aren't feeling the best, and I hope you get well. It's been a blast for me. I've been so looking forward to this since I reached out to Cody and said, hey, I'd love to have you guys on.
Thank you.
This right here made it. Okay, after tonight, I think all things creepy's done. No, I'm just kidding.
No, not at all.
Cody's like, no. And I want to have you guys back on later if you guys would like to discuss what's going on. Yeah,
absolutely. And we'll have to get together in person at some point, you know?
Yeah. I'll just keep a tab on where you guys are if you're around us or something, and then we'll make it happen.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I would love to hang out with you. Yeah, get out, because we're, you know, like when your dad came when we did the Ghost Nation at Waynesville, Ohio, the Buckeye Chart, and he met me up at the Friends Home Museum, where we do a ghost class 3 times a year for them. It's all volunteers, and all the proceeds that they charge for the ghost class, it all goes to them. So, you know, over the years, I've been working with them since 2006. That they put, you know, we've helped them put new windows, air conditioning in the old museum, just a ton of things. And every year at this time, they get excited. Hey, we got some dates. Are these dates work for you? And so, you know, and they had so many questions to ask your dad and Steve and Tango. But, you know, when you meet somebody that you watch and then you just forget, and they're like, I just totally forgot to ask what I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was with them all week down the hill. You could have stopped in the morning. Which we had a blast. It was the best week. We had so much fun. You know,
those are fun.
And when the producers goes, can you try to wear the same color? So I went and bought 5 black t-shirts because I'm like,
we know
these gotta wash these things.
Yeah.
I hear you. You must have 100.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So you're like the same, you know, when you guys go do these investigations, you're like, okay, I got to change. Can't wear this again and again.
Yeah, you get sick of wearing the same color. You do.
Okay, so one thing that Patty and I came up with a great question at the end of the show. It's what made you want to collect haunted objects? And Cody already answered at the beginning from, you know, a family thing. So Satori, what was one of the big things that got you?
Okay, so the reason for collecting haunted objects, it may sound like I'm cheating the answer here, but definitely Cody was kind of the one to push me to do that. I will admit, I actually had a fear of a lot of different types of objects we had in our museum. Like, I'm not fond of clowns. I'm not fond of dolls. I'm not fond of, you know, I'm kind of that person. So it started off with like me just going, oh, that's weird. I am terrified of all these things, and now I collect hundreds of them because Cody convinced me to try out this side of the paranormal field. But then I just grew such a love for it. I feel like a lot of people say I'm like a foster mom to these items now. Like they all have different energies to me. I take care of them like I'm taking care of real people. It makes me feel like I'm doing something important, not just for living people, but for dead people. So I think that's what really pushed me to do it. I have a lot of emotion behind taking care of things that people loved a lot in life. So that's really what pushed me to do it. Also, I think I'm really enjoying the fact that I get to like educate people, especially younger people, about some of the things we have, because I went to school for art history. So I definitely spent a lot of my time analyzing items, where they come from, their history. So I
Sure.
think I really also enjoy that aspect. I get to research an item, figure out exactly why it is the way it is, where it came from, and I get to help educate people on that. It's not just about haunted objects for me. It's about educating people about different parts of the world and different intentions and cultures.
The
I
culture.
think that's also important for me.
Absolutely. Well, that's what I wanted to ask. Guys, it's been great. I'm so happy to have you guys on. It's been a blast, and finally get to talk to you guys one-on-one. And now we just got to meet, and then we'll have a good investigation, and then bam, there we go. Right?
Absolutely. You let us know.
Before you guys exit, just like when they say Elvis has left the building, right? we are going to do a sweet little thing I made of you guys, which I loved. And I was sitting here last night and I was like making little videos. So guys, we had Cody and Satori on tonight. A lot of people has been looking forward to this, and my heart goes out to you guys. You're awesome. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thanks,
You're
Patty.
welcome.
Thanks. We appreciate it.
And here it is, guys. I want to show you guys one more time. Guys, what I made.
I was lightning before the thunder.
I love that. Thank you, guys.
See, I used to DJ for 23 years. So doing some mixing and things, and then I was like, I liked how the picture went popped you guys. I was like, that's cool. So guys, thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful night. Rest, and I'll keep a tab on where you guys are, and we'll definitely meet up.
Absolutely. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
See ya.
Later.
That was awesome, guys. Thanks for watching, guys. All Things Creepy with Ghostly Travels, Patty and Lee. Thanks. If you guys are watching us on YouTube, thank you, guys. We really appreciate you guys. If you guys can follow us and subscribe, we will be bringing more content, not just our podcast, but our investigations. So we look forward to doing that. And those two right there, Patty, what do you say? That they're genuine kids. I really enjoyed having them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just such, it sounds hokey, but good intentions, good hearts. I would love to just, sit with them in person, hang out.
And we will.
Yeah, I would love to just spend some time. So I did order the book. We'll have it Thursday. I'm excited.
So guys, definitely, if you're still watching, go out and get Archives of the Paranormal, Case Files from the Paranormal Couples Haunted Museum. You can get it at Amazon. Support these. They're awesome. We're part of the Taps family. And, I've met Jason. I've met Tango. I've met Steve. I've hung out with Sherry. I've hung out with all of them. And they treat us like family. And they treat everyone they meet like family. That nobody's a stranger to those guys. They're genuine.
Yeah, they're genuine.
And they're East Coast people, right, honey?
That's probably why
honest.
I'm so drawn. Yeah. Excuse me.
Well, guys, it has been a great. You okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's been a great night. Thanks again for watching, guys. Next week, we're going to have our friends Crystal and Jeffrey come on. They do a lot of YouTube. They do their own investigations. They do some filming, editing. They're amazing. Stay tuned next week for them. Same time, same bat channel. YouTube. This goes on Spotify as well. Guys, always keep looking into the unknown. If you haven't, also go to Facebook, Paravisions Paranormal Society. Follow us there. Follow All Things Creepy with Ghostly Travels on Facebook. We would appreciate it. We'll support you guys as well. Have a great night, guys.
See you next week.